Hey guys, welcome to another video. In this video I'm going to be showing off some knockoffs and bootlegs, which I have done before, so we'll call this Knockoffs and Bootlegs Part 2. Okay, so to start off, let's show, I think this one. This is the smallest of the group, but not necessarily the ugliest. This is a Darth Vader knockoff, which if you couldn't tell that just by the first look, then you're definitely going to tell by seeing it twice. As you can see, even has a little display thing here with buttons, just not painted. He has the shoulder pads going on there. Face mask, he's all black. He's got the texturing here. It's definitely based off of Darth Vader, even with the boots. But this is a terrible knockoff because, to start off, he's extremely hollow. As you can see, you can push him in. Very cheap plastic. Feels like if you brought a match like this close, he would burst into flames and just disappear. And another problem is in some places there's lighter plastic, which makes it just like push in, very cheap. And his articulation is his upside though. He's got so much. It's 2 points of articulation. So he's trying to one up the originals, but not necessarily reaching there. Not necessarily not reaching there, but you know. It's rather crappy. You can't really hold anything. Here, let me just grab some random thing. You can't really get them to, well, I suppose, nah, it sort of just sets in there for a second upon pressure and then falls out. But luckily this has a hook on it, so we can just, there we go, weightlifting Vader knockoff. Let's just take a quick side-by-side look here with an actual Vader toy. It's pretty cool. He is bigger, so there's that. But I think this is really odd. I've never really come across Darth Vader knockoffs, which I know they're more common than other Star Wars knockoffs, but I don't know, it seems weird. As for his sculpt, there is quite a bit of little sculpting details for something that's made out of cheap plastic and has like next to no articulation. First off, he has a thong going in between his buttocks there. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Clearly they did not see the movie very well. It's like if someone, I said this before with the Rambo figure I had, it's like if someone just saw the movie and then explained it to someone else and they made a figure of it, and that person didn't actually see the movie, they're just following what the other person's saying. And by that, you know, it's not too far off. It looks like almost a Ralph McQuarrie concept art thing, even though I'm pretty sure it's not. Little textures all throughout, so yeah, not too bad. There's no markings or anything, so I just have to guess where he's from and all, probably, maybe China or something, Japan, I don't know, possibly Mexico. I do know the Mexican ones tend to be hollow plastic, because I have seen the wrestling figures, and they kind of look like that. So anyway, no lightsaber for him too, I might as well add. That's kind of disappointing. Let's set him aside, and let's grab the next one, which is another Star Wars one. That's right, 2 in a row. This guy's not too bad. He's based off of the 6-inch figures, obviously. Let me see if I have one here. Here's a Black Series figure next to him, which, to be honest, he's pretty much in scale, so they got that right. But there are a few other things that they got wrong. So just looking at him, first off, he doesn't look too bad, but then after the first glance, you start realizing that body is not a Stormtrooper body. That's, in fact, a clone trooper body with a Stormtrooper's head put on. Kind of weird. And then the paint apps are very just splotchy. The back there's none, which you can expect that because even Marvel Legends doesn't paint the back very much. But with this, it's a knockoff, so of course. And there's just little random splotches of this dirt put everywhere. So he's supposed to be like a Sandtrooper, I guess, but he doesn't have that armor there. Which is not the worst thing about him, but we'll get to articulation in a second. Might as well point out he comes with an accessory. It's a Clone Trooper blaster, which is very cheap, and the trigger part here, the trigger guard, just broke off real easy. It's a flimsy plastic, kind of feels like if you bend it, it'll break, so it's not pliable at all. And the hand sculpted to hold it is pretty nice, though. It does do its job. Yeah, but then, now we can get into the articulation. The head can do a side-to-side like that. Cannot look up or anything, really. I mean, I think it is a ball joint, it just can't really be used. Then at the shoulders, he can do a full 360 on both sides. There's no up or down movement, really. See, it does sort of swivel around, but that's not because it's supposed to, I think. I think that's more of a flaw in the design. Then at the elbows, he can bend like that much. Not very much on either side. And you can see the sort of place where it was originally sculpted for that. I do believe this is actually the sculpt of the Black Series figures, but just reused and all the articulation's been taken out. So the legs, he can kick forward that much, which feels like you might break it. Kick back that much. Kick forward. This one can't move at all, actually. Yep. There's no waist rotation or anything. The belt is a separate piece, I might as well add. That's actually a rather nice piece. Not bad. Then at the other knee, he can bend to the same degree, and then there's no articulation in the ankles, even though you can see there was originally. Then he does come with another open hand, and there's no articulation at the wrist. So he's okay, honestly. If you want to just army build and get a bunch of these, that wouldn't look too bad. They kind of would fit in with the Black Series Stormtroopers, I believe. But at the same time, they are creepy as heck, and pretty cheap. I feel like he could break upon moving joints and whatnot. So, not a great figure, but not the worst. Let's set him aside, and let's take a look at the next one. This is more of just a quick look at one. This here is exactly like the, I believe, Figma made this guy, or SH Figuarts. But this is a knockoff of that guy, and you can't hardly tell because he's done very well. The jacket is the telltale sign, though, because it's more solid than it should be. So just, basically, I'm giving you guys a warning here to be careful what you buy overseas. This is my brother's, and he did get it, but he got it for a really good price considering. Let's just set him next to a Titan here for a second. Yeah, there's a good comparison. It's just, yeah. There we go. That's more accurate in size. Yeah. Okay. If you don't know what Attack on Titan is, then you're not an anime fan. Okay, moving on. This is the final of the knockoff / bootlegs, and this is the Marvel Legends Loki figure, which, you know, I've compared it to the actual Marvel Legends one. It does have some similarities. Like, to start out, I thought when I saw this is probably like the mold of the 3 3/4 inch one, but it's actually accurately sized to the one that came with the Marvel Legends Loki figure. Only it's a lot more rubbery and cheap feeling. Again, with all of these, they feel like they're greasy too. Kind of weird. Extremely pliable. It's got some paint apps though, which is surprising. Now let's set that down. I'm guessing this is one of those, again, China knockoffs, because they tend to make the figures like almost exact in some ways, but then very cheap and unarticulated in others. Let's take a look at his other accessory, which is his helmet, which I feel is actually done pretty well. Of the entire figure, I think the helmet turns out the best, which you can put on other figures. Just for example, yeah. Now we have Punisher, the Loki Trickster Man or something, I don't know. Why not? But it's a nice helmet. It's a bit pliable. It's not very well painted. The back isn't painted on these horns. But yeah, not too bad. Got this at the flea market for a couple of bucks. Not too bad. And the head sculpt does look like Tom Hiddleston. Something I want to do is switch the head onto something and then repaint it, because I don't know, the Loki figure is very hard to get, so getting this guy's head could be useful, since it's rather rare to find. And it does look weird. It looks like his head is just part of his shoulders. It's terrible. If you kind of just set it on there a bit, it's not so bad. Looks right, actually. Yeah, it doesn't look bad at all. But then it's loose and will fall off. So give or take there. And then the articulation has been quite knocked off. I might as well add that all of his stuff here is rubbery, and he's made extremely thin there, kind of gaunt looking. Not bad paint apps. There's like paint all over him. Considering he's a knockoff, it's not too bad at all. The back isn't painted there. The cape is a solid piece that's attached to the main part here. And then let's get into articulation. His head can move side to side here, not do 360 or anything. Can't look up, can't look down, unless you pop it off, and then you can kind of set it on top. Okay, and then at the shoulders, he can do a turn like that much, and then down, up that much. Then at the elbow, he can move 1 point, which you can tell because of the elongation of that arm. It was supposed to have an extra joint there to make it double, what do they call it? Double bending, double jointed elbow, yeah. And then at the other side, it's exactly the same, down to a T. And then there's no wrist articulation, and then at the waist, there is a full 360 spin, kind of loose actually. And then he can kick forward at the thighs, but can't move outward. And then there's no cuts or anything there, but then he can do a bend that's past 90 degrees on his knees. That's not bad. And then there's no ankle articulation. But there is a nice little peg hole, so you can put him on a stand if you want. But I don't know why you would want to display this, because it's more of a shameful piece than it is a legit figure that you'd want to display. Might as well add that the accessories fit on him rather nicely, like that fits into his hand. It doesn't fit into that one because it's opened. And then the helmet can sit on top his head. There we go. The paint apps on his face are kind of, subpar too. The eyes are a bit off, so I'm going to do a head swap on from this head to a different figure, and then repaint the head, maybe make the body look more like Loki, but that is for another day. He's got pencil-thin eyebrows too. Okay, anyway, let's set him aside there, and let's just take a look at the entire lineup, and then I will say goodbye to you guys. So, make sure to check out the recommendation box there, or whatever it's called. There's the other bootleg, another 6-inch figure. Here's the Aaron figure, which I just took a basic look at. And where's the Darth Vader? There's the Darth Vader. So, that's the lineup of my bootlegs / knockoffs, what have you. So anyway, guys, make sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. Make sure to watch my other videos, and I will see you guys in the next review. Peace.